talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. Can we talk for a minute, baby? Girl, I want to know your name. Hey Tank, how'd I do, bro? This the Can We Talk challenge. Well, anyway, I'm no Jonathan McReynolds. I'm no Samort. And certainly no Avery Wilson, but I try. Good morning, everybody. It's that early morning rise chat with Rico. And Rico the Opinionist. I'm on YouTube. Subscribe at your own risk. And I'm on Twitter and Instagram. But I'm here this morning to just share some thoughts, opinions about some things. One thing in particular, read an article that's been floating around on social media concerning our dear old Grambling State University. Love the school to death, I swear. I read the article where they'll be handing out at least 2 degrees to people who passed away. And rest in peace and condolences to both of them. But this opinion is about one of them. Certainly not our dear young sister who passed away untimely and unfortunately. It's not about her. Right. Condolences to her family. Continued condolences to her family. But what caused my antenna to go up, because she was on her way to completing her degree. Beautiful young lady, on her way to completing her degree. But then I saw deceased actress Natalie Giselle Reed. She's going to be handed her degree posthumously. Okay? And I continued to read the article, and it showed where she completed 2.5 years of Grambling State University, and then she went on to pursue her career in acting and show business. And I loved her on this show with Eve. I thought her role in Baps was entertaining, but stereotypical. But it was entertaining. But I've read over the years. No, I have not. I never read over the years where, in the pursuit of her career, that I never heard her mention Grambling till years later. I think years later she even mentioned Grambling, or Grambling was ever attached to her. This is not about an attack of anything. It's about an observation and choices that schools tend to make. It's not that I have a problem with that. The issue I have with them handing celebrities, these degrees, and with no problem. But y'all know something? When I was a student at Grambling State University, unfortunately, I was labeled a militant or anti or controversial. All not because I robbed on campus, I fought on campus, or attacked, physically assaulted anybody, or embezzled money or any of that stuff. I was labeled that because I was a campus activist, and I spoke on issues in my own newsletter. I wrote my own newsletter. It's called In My Opinion by Rico Rivers back in the day. And that daggum newsletter, I didn't think it would grow legs. It grew tentacles. All over the place, and had me in the forefront. And there were people in the administration who did not want me there because of the things I was exposing, right? And then there were other students who were also campus activists, who was speaking up against whatever's going on that was wrong at the university that they thought was unfair to the students. And those students, some of them were kicked out, not because of criminal stuff or any of that. They were kicked out because of standing up. This is where I come in. This is where we come in. I don't know if they were able to come back and ever get their degrees. Some of them, through court proceedings, were able to come back and finish. There were some who were not able to come back and get their degree. And I even wrote an article about changing the name of the nursing building from this racist white woman by the name of Betty Smith. Her name is still on that building. And those who endured her can tell you the stories. I wrote it and I put it on the alumni pages, and it was a wide response. A lot of people chimed in and talked about their experiences under this ratchet, evil white woman. She was terrible. Yeah, she was brought onto the campus by black folks to, I guess, they used her influence and her, quote, her whiteness, in my opinion, to, I guess, give legitimacy and validate the nursing program. You know how black people. So anyway, so they don't want to speak the truth about her character and her behavior and how she discriminated against the blacks and pushed the white students on through. They don't want to talk about that. And there were students who stood up to her. And there were students, according to the people who responded to the article that I wrote last year, I think maybe March of 2020, April 2020. It's on one of the Grambling alumni support, or I went to Grambling State University alumni pages. Just look up Rico and his opinions. They should pop up. I wrote about 2 articles on there suggesting that the name should be changed off the nursing building at this black university. And there were students who shared that they were kicked out of school because they stood up to her tyranny, while other black students cowered down and kept their head down and went on through, didn't stand in solidarity during that time. I wrote about it. Our school newspaper barely touched it. They didn't want that smoke. Thank God I had my newsletter, because sometimes the Grambling night just... But anyway, so my question is, are the requirements for those students to get their degree, administration at Grambling State University, they'd have to have left school voluntarily to pursue a music career or acting career, or in order for y'all to just hand them their degree? But can those folks who were disenfranchised because of their campus activism, not because of criminal behavior or flunking out of school, but literally run out of school or run out of the nursing program or run out of school because they were labeled militants? I was one of the lucky ones. They were trying to kick me out at least 2 times, 3 times. And I managed to make it through. All because of what I wrote, my thoughts and my opinions. And I just don't think it's fair that because she was a celebrity that I never heard her mention Grambling State University publicly or attach it to her publicly. But I guess it's a form of adding, and I don't want to use the word clout to the university, that we give a deceased celebrity their degree, but there's so many so-called labeled controversial students who were kicked out, but they were never able to get their degree from Grambling State University. I just need some answers. Do y'all think that's fair? I don't. A lot of them probably moved on and said, I went on and I was able to do it somewhere else, but people want their degrees from the school that they started from. Especially if you were there 4 years, almost through, probably need a semester or 2 to finish, and you get kicked out or run out of school. Because at that time, there's really nobody you can tell. And they all band together because the administration in the early 90s was on some other stuff. And I tried to report as much of it as I could back in the day. It's probably why they tried to kick my behind out. And I just don't think it's fair. And it's no disrespect to her. I'm just using this as just something for us to shine a light on, to understand. Just because they're not famous, just because they didn't go off and become rich celebrities or whatever, they shouldn't be cast aside because they don't bring the news to the campus. But I think it would make news if the current administration would invite those students back. Let's say they wrote in after this video. They say, you know what? They wrote in and tell their story about how and why they were kicked out and just how close they were to get their degree. I think the university should hear them out, and I think the university should grant them their degree. Just like you're doing or you've done with a celebrity who barely finished 2.5 years to pursue what they really wanted to do. And that wasn't to graduate from Grambling State University. I just think it's awful that we continue to play these games with people just because they're not famous. So you jump on to other people just because they're on television or they're on TV, they're in the movies, or they're on a popular news magazine show every day, CNN or what have you, on BET. You know, don't do people like that. Because in our community, we have this really bad. We celebrate those because they're famous, and we look down on those of us who really do the hard work, who do the real sacrificing of their image or even economics, just to speak out and speak up. And I think this is the case of it at Grambling State University right now. So I want to encourage those folks who were run out of school or kicked out because they were trying to be activists on campus. It's wind out here and blowing stuff. You know, I want you to encourage to write the president, write the vice president of student affairs, write the vice president of academic affairs, write the board president of ULS board. What's that, Louisiana Systems? Yeah, write them and actually say, hey, y'all giving a degree to a celebrity who rarely mentioned Grambling. You know, but what can I get mine? I was like 4 years into my degree, or over 3 years into my degree, and I was kicked out because I spoke up against this issue. And that's all I want to say. I just want some fairness to be shown to everybody, not, you know, even though they're not famous, or they never have a platinum CD, or a hit movie, or a hit TV show. Don't do that, Grambling. It's not a good look. And of course, you know, some of you may think I'm out of line, but when is the truth ever out of line? Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll try to put those addresses up for those who don't want to go and just click on the addresses of all those people I just named. The Vice President of Student Affairs, the Vice President of Academic Affairs, and the President of Grambling State University. Write all three of them and ask them, hey, if you're one of those persons who was kicked out because you're trying to stand up for what was right as a student, write them and ask them, can you get your degree from Grambling State University? Because I'm sure a lot of them still believe that they're Gramblingites, and they are. But they just don't have that degree on the wall that solidifies, that validates that they were there, that they did the work, and they gave their blood, sweat, tears, and academia in all for the sake of standing up for what they believed that was right. I just want y'all to have a great day. We'll talk later. It's your boy Rico and his opinions. Peace.